Colbert. We're,
At
all
10:10,
right.
we're on the air.
It's 10:10.
There's your proof.
10:10. There you go, Michael. 10:10. We are here. We are live. We are whatever we are.
In all the days that we've said we're on at 10:10, this could be one of the very few days that we were actually on the air at 10:10.
Yeah, it's a little scary to be on at 10:10 when we say we're going to be on at 10:10. It's always, we're always 10:15, 10:20, 10:40. Sometimes, it's kind of when we get here.
It's not our fault, although it might be our fault.
It's probably our fault, actually. Actually, we should be a lot better at it. But
well, part of the new American inability to take responsibility for anything is to always say it's not your fault, even if you have empirical proof that it is your fault, or you have a sneaking suspicion that it's all been your fault, or someone tells you that the reason this whole thing's a mess is your fault. That's when you say it's not my fault.
But it's not supposed, because aren't we living in an America where nothing's supposed to be anybody's fault? I mean, that seems to be the premise of our country these days. It's no fault. You break into the Capitol, it's nobody's fault. You whatever you do.
The Straits of Hormuz are closed. You're the reason they're closed, but it's not your fault.
Nobody's fault. I mean, don't blame anybody. Somebody loses a game because for some reason they don't hit the ball or swing at the ball or do whatever they're supposed to do with a ball or a puck or whatever. Well, it's not your fault. It's a team effort. Everybody on a team. In other words, we've become a country that doesn't want to take blame. If Stephen Colbert gets canceled, it's not anybody's fault. It's a financial consideration.
Not even CBS's fault. Who pulled the plug? It's not their fault.
Right. They're not going to take blame for it. Nobody wants to take blame because we live in a world where, we live in a country where people tend to pick up guns and shoot people that are at fault. And we want to try to prevent that from happening, right?
So the people you shoot at, they're the ones who you assign fault to. By the way, CBS probably thinks they should have canceled Stephen Colbert like 5 years ago because the response to his show was so, I guess, expected, but still quite impressive. And the media coverage is wall to wall. Everybody is doing it. They're all showing McCartney. They're all showing the final pulling of the switch, which turns the lights off in the Ed Sullivan Theater, miniaturizes it to a tiny little snow globe that sits on the sidewalk outside 52nd Street. And I'd like to know what's going to happen to the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Well, I would have to think that it's they're going to, they're not going to close it down. They're not going to, who knows what they may do. Who knows? I mean, I couldn't imagine them.
I don't know.
I was just going to say I couldn't imagine closing it down with the history that's there. But the reality is every time I drive past the Fillmore East,
there it is.
I am reminded that now that it's a bunch of NYU classrooms, that nothing lasts forever.
Well, you could turn the Ed Sullivan Theater into a Broadway house, and it could run shows periodically like all the other major Winter Garden and all the other major Broadway theaters.
Well, or if game shows come back on CBS, which they seem to run their cycle, maybe they'll stick a game show or two in there.
I just read that the show that's going to take Stephen Colbert's place, which is a group of comedians having fun every night, has a distinct rule, and that rule is no political humor.
Yeah, so it's
comedians that can't be funny.
Yeah, it's a show that's been on for a long time. Comics Unlimited, Comics Unseated, Comics Unfunny. I think it's Comics Unfunny is the name of the show. And it's Byron Allen, who you may remember from That's Incredible. Remember that show, That's Incredible?
No.
Yeah, it was on NBC in the 80s, and he was a young kid on that show. I give him a lot of credit. He's put together a broadcast empire. He's a billionaire. He's put together a bunch of broadcasting entities, and evidently he went to CBS with the idea of buying the time.
Oh, he has to buy the time, so CBS.
So he buys the time, and then his sales force goes out and sells it. Much as it is, in any city has a couple of radio stations that you can go on and buy the time and sell your own advertising. I did it with Drive Time over at KKNW for, and so that essentially is what he's doing. And you're right; it's it's a bunch of comics that sit around. He sits in the middle of them, and they ask him questions that are non-offensive. It is a show that will play anywhere in Middle America. It's not going to offend anybody. It's not going to.
How will it play in Peoria?
It'll probably play pretty good in Peoria. It'll probably play excellent in Peoria. It'll probably be a show that, like I said, it's not going to offend anybody. So I think that, I think that it's going to be, and he takes care of he bears all the expense. He pays them a lump sum every year for the time. And if it works out and he gets a ton of money out of it, he does well. He's not a stupid guy. He's a smart guy. Like I say, he's become a billionaire on doing this kind of stuff.
Well,
the show had been running.
The company that he's
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
They put some weird type of show in there that was reading things off the internet. Somebody at CBS thought that was the smart way to go, was to have somebody basically stand there and read stuff off the internet, read stuff off the show videos of people banging their heads into walls and stuff.
That's entertainment.
That's what passes for entertainment these days.
Yeah.
And evidently that didn't work out, so CBS wanted to cut their losses there. So they cut the deal with Byron Allen, who had been in syndication. He was on, I don't know, a couple of hundred stations. Comics Unleashed, I think it actually is the name of the show. And so they moved the show there. And to be honest with you, when they put the show there, you knew it was only a matter of time before something like this happened, because there's no risk for CBS except for their reputation.
They don't care about their reputation.
It's not a broadcast network anymore.
And it doesn't have all those standards that they have to adhere to. They've put that aside.
It doesn't have, it's a joke. It's not they hold a license. That's all they do. They don't, there's no, I don't know. I don't see that there's a lot of standards and practices. I don't see that there's a lot of, they make some shows. In some ways, it kind of goes back to kind of the Goodson-Todman model of the early days of television, when Goodson and Todman used to go out and sell those, produce those shows and sell those shows and just deliver them to CBS, because you couldn't have in those days the antitrust laws read that a TV network could not produce entertainment programming.
We fixed that.
It was a
Conflict of interest. Yeah.
So they turned around and they obviously changed that. And so uh, they're going to go back to that model. Byron Allen is the new Goodson and Todman.
And if you want to know what the future looks like, you can just look to your favorite CBS radio station and hear ABC News at the top of the hour now.
Right. CBS also, I think today is the last day for CBS radio, isn't it?
I think the ABC top of the hour has started at KCBS, started at KNX. I don't know about Cairo.
Yeah,
I don't know what their choice is. By the way, that new sports station in town, 97.1 The Fan. Boy.
Well, everybody's a little rough when they start. You got to give them a little time to find their way. Although I would think in a market like LA that they would be able to figure it out and hit the ground running. Jesus, when we were in Pittsburgh, we hit the ground running. We sat in the studio for a week and did mock shows and kind of, got our act together before we hit the air for the first time.
That's what I recommend.
Which is, I think, how you're supposed to do it. But we had people running a place that knew what they were doing. We had people like Chris Olvero and Mark Mason.
I don't know about Mason, but Olvero's still involved.
Yeah. Olvero and Mark Mason really was running things much more than, as a matter of fact, The Fan in Pittsburgh was his last kind of station that he put together. This is the guy that put together The Fan. He's the guy that basically came up with the concept of all sports radio.
On the FM.
No, not just on the FM. I mean, he put The Fan together. So he
You mean WFAN?
WFAN, right. The original all sports station, the one that they said wouldn't work, the one that they said you're nuts for putting this on this country station at the time. They put it on a country station, WHN, which was basically dying, had no listenership, was country music on AM radio,
right?
And at 10:50, and they just said, "Well, you know what? Let's try this. We're not getting it. Nobody's listening." Nobody's listening to country music on AM because that now has gone over to FM with the rest of the music. Let's just, what can we do to save the FM dial? And they decided at some point that to save the FM dial, the AM dial, it would be, it would work out to be sports. And they were right. I don't know if it's still a top billing station in the country, but it's sure damn close to it. Anyway, yeah, so CBS goes out tonight. I mean, it's a hell of a day of change for CBS, right? I mean, you lose Colbert on Thursday, and on Friday you lose your
radio networks.
Your radio news division, but something will come along to take its place. People don't get their news from, many people don't get their news from radio anymore. I mean, it's kind of like, CBS is right in one way. No, I don't think. Now, listen, I'm never going to believe that the canceling of Stephen Colbert was nothing but a political move. Was done to
get the Paramount deal.
To get the Paramount deal done. It's we're seeing how corrupt this administration is. We're seeing how things work. We're seeing, we're dealing with a president that's made hundreds of stock moves since the beginning of the year.
And he wants the
And
Department of Justice to cover his ass.
yeah, many of them have broadcast entities on them. Wouldn't be surprised if you found out that he was a holder in Byron Allen's company. Wouldn't shock me. Anyway,
that may be the point, to get beyond the shock of everything that he does every day.
well, I mean, he just throws so much stuff at you that that after a while you can't keep up with it all, and I think that's exactly the MO. I think that's the story. That's what he does.
And Uday's getting married this weekend, and his dad may not go to the wedding ceremony, saying that if he did go, that the fake news networks would crucify him. He's more concerned about that than the way they're crucifying him over the way he's conducting the war in Iran.
Well, there's so much to crucify him over.
And his idiot generals and admirals who were going along with him and didn't know that the Strait of Hormuz would be closed as a result of the war that they prosecuted. And they never warned him. They never mentioned it. And they still don't even recognize it as a factor in any of the decisions that they make about this war, that the strait is closed.
I don't know. I don't know that to be true. Now, what I do seem to feel is that there's something about Trump that people are afraid to cross him.
You will go out of his way to get even.
You got to. Yeah. I mean, the people are afraid. They fear for their families. They fear for. I mean, it's really analogous to 1930s Germany,
Hey.
where people just don't want to. They just want to go along because they don't want problems. They don't want people showing up at the house. They don't want the SS going after them. They don't want to get sued. They don't want any kind of problems. They don't want legal problems. And this Trump has shown that he will make trouble for people, and he has the power. He's been given the power by the Supreme Court to make trouble for people in government.
Now, did he do Stephen Colbert a favor in the long run? We don't know what his next step's going to be in terms of his career. We don't know what show is planned. We don't know what the future holds. And it's either a secret that is being very well kept, or else he hasn't made those plans yet. And he's going to take a nice vacation in Bimini and decide later what his next move is going to be.
I mean, I would think he's going to take some. I mean, look, I'm positive that he knows what he's going to do. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that he knows what his next move is. He probably either has made it or he has a number of choices in front of him, and he's going to make that choice. And by September, he'll be back with something, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Netflix, whether it be on Amazon Prime. Although I doubt it would be on Amazon Prime, to be honest.
No, he can't take his product to that outlet. They're too Trump.
It'll be somewhere.
It's a pre-Trump situation at Amazon. If you don't have your Trump, we'll get you some Trump. It's a pre-Trump setup.
It'll wind up being somewhere. I thought the show last night was I think it had its ups and downs. I could see it was definitely not a lot of what I expected. I expected something a little bit different. I thought he did a great job, and I thought that his last guest, having Paul McCartney on as his last guest,
not a bad move.
Masterful. Was masterful.
And they teased that it was going to be the Pope. But and
they did a little bit with,
the Pope's arm.
Yeah, the Pope's arm and throwing Chicago hot dogs. I thought that was a little hokey. But
are Chicago hot dogs inferior, would you say?
No, they're just different. I like Chicago hot dogs. I like. I don't think they're inferior. They're just different. It's different. It's a different hot dog than a New York hot dog.
It's not like a hot Italian sausage.
No, no, it's a regular hot dog, and they just put tomatoes and pickles and relish and mustard in there and onions. They just
Those sound like agreeable ingredients.
yeah, no, it's great. It's a great hot dog. I have no problem with a Chicago hot dog.
Is that
No,
the way
you're
they serve them
talking
at the
about.
Cubs games? Is that the way they serve them at the Cubs games?
You know what? I don't know, Michael. I've never had a hot dog at a Cubs game.
Neither
It
have
would
I. I've
seem
been to
to
one
be
Cub game.
kind of tough to serve a hot dog like that at a Cubs game. It seems to me that you'd have to, if you were running around the stands with a hot dog box
And all those
um,
additives.
with all of that stuff on it, it would seem to be hard to put all of that on. It would seem that you'd have to go up to the concession stand, get it up there, and bring it back down to the seats. That would be the only way. I couldn't see that somebody would make that kind of hot dog up in the stands, but could be. Uh, it's not like a New York hot dog where you're slapping. Um, you handle a cup of sauerkraut or a cup of onions and a thing of mustard, and you just put it on the hot dog and eat it. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Their hot dog is a lot more elaborate than a New York hot dog. New
So
York hot dog is made to walk with.
we're on our
Chicago
way.
hot dog is made to stand there and eat.
And the
So,
buns must be larger in Chicago to hold all the additives.
no, I don't think they are. I think they're the same. I think it's the same bun. I'm pretty sure. Um, I've never noticed any big difference unless you get one of those huge, you know. I mean, I guess they have a big hot dog there, like they do in New York. They have a bigger, I don't know, a foot long or something like that.
Like a
But the
Dodger dog.
regular Sabrettes or the House of Weenies, same, same thing. But it's definitely it's definitely not a walking hot dog.
Now, what did they do in Cleveland? Did they lean toward New York hot dogs or Chicago hot dogs?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
They know about hot dogs in Cleveland, don't they?
Yeah, no, they have hot dogs. I'm trying to think. I think they just hand it to you with some mustard, if I remember right. And again, if you get up and out of your seat and go up and get a hot dog, yeah, they have condiments there. They have mustard, and they have ketchup, and they have
Trout.
onions and sauerkraut. I don't know what else they put on a hot dog in Cleveland, to be honest with you. Um, I've never heard of a particular. I know in Cincinnati they put chili on them. The
It's not
chili
a bad
dog
idea.
is quite popular because Cincinnati is a chili city. Is one of the main foods in Cincinnati is chili. You get chili dogs, you get chili mac, you get spaghetti with chili on it, you get chili with oyster crackers. You get all kinds of different types of chili.
I love oyster crackers.
Served, yeah, I do too. Served several different ways. So if you're into that, if you're into chili, um, there's a couple of. I'm a Skyline chili fan. Every time I would go to or near Cincinnati, I would make it a point to stop at Skyline Chili.
How about Manny Sanguine? Is he doing chili?
No, he's doing barbecue.
Okay. And Boog
Yeah,
Powell's barbecue, does he do chili?
he's got barbecue out there.
Yeah, okay.
I hope he. I hope. Last time I heard, Manny was sick, so I don't know. I hope he's doing all right. I haven't seen anything about him. He was not doing too well the last time I heard about him. I hope that he's doing okay. He's quite a character. He never attained, I guess, the Boog Powell type thing, but there's still a pretty big line at Manny's Barbecue out there in left field. So yeah, so it was, it pulled a lot of heartstrings for me last night. Tugged a lot of heartstrings. Which watching that show because you know I and Stephen Colbert were fired for the same reasons from CBS. You know, the financial considerations.
So they say.
It's always that's their favorite excuse is financial considerations.
Their
And
favorite is not used much anymore, but it's going in a slightly different direction.
yeah, that seems to be their their standard. Although budget cuts were quite popular, especially if they're getting rid of you a week before Christmas, like they did with me. Budget cuts are the only way that the bastards can look themselves in the face. Because the program director or the general manager of the station usually don't have the balls to look you in the eye and say, "Well, we just don't like you anymore," or "You said something against this or against that or against this, or you didn't have our type of politics." Or you didn't want to do a commercial for a certain client because it was against your values. And you can get caught up in that kind of thing. I mean, if
easier than you might imagine.
Well, yeah, if you're in Pennsylvania and the people that want to frack are spreading a lot of money around, and you decide that you don't want to take their money,
they're offended.
You don't want to do a segment that says fracking is good.
They wanted to buy your endorsement on the air in the segment, not just a spot.
Well, I can't say that. All I can say is if somebody, if you had different views on the subject of fracking than the sales manager did, and the people that liked fracking wanted you to do their commercials and you didn't want to do them, something like that might happen.
Something might befall the host of the midday show.
Somebody might just say, you know what? It would be awful strange because 3 months before the whole thing happened, they wanted to sign you to a long-term contract after you decided that you didn't want to do fracking commercials. All of a sudden, you were out. All of a sudden, the money disappeared. The budget got tightened. It's all about, it's a whole bunch of whores. The whole business is full. It's worse than used car salesmen.
Well, now they're shutting off AM stations at a regular pace around the nation, just turning them off.
Well, yeah, I mean, because people aren't. I mean, people have choices. When we started in this business, there was, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 11, Channel 13.
And that was in the big town.
570, 670, 770.
810.
10 a.m. stations and a bunch of FM stations that nobody ever heard of. And that's where you want to get your news or your sports or your baseball.
Or anything.
But it's not that way anymore. Now you have the smartphone. You pick up the smartphone, and you can punch a couple of buttons on your smartphone, and you can listen to anything you want to listen to. So you're not you know, it's not a matter of you have to come up with something that is going to attract people.
Like our show. This is the format that we decided on after tons of research.
Oh yeah,
Paid a fortune.
We must have spent 15, 20 minutes researching this.
You did. I spent about 15 or 20 minutes looking at ESPN
Sleeping.
scores. Yeah, should have been sleeping.
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy situation, and it's only getting more and more absurd. There are people who are making money doing the podcasting thing. There's people who are getting millions of hits. But they tend to be, I don't know, so outrageous or so that they have something that
there's a certain strident. It has to be a certain strident nature to your delivery. Your content has to be somewhat upsetting and shocking and opinionated.
Yeah, you have to figure out how to do Howard Stern. Or you have to be able to get an A-list of guests. Problem is, everybody has their own podcast these days.
So the person that you're going to get as a guest has got his own show.
Being on somebody else's show.
Yeah.
It's not like the days of, when Richard Simmons would walk in the studio.
Definitely not like that day.
No, definitely not like that day. It used to be a PR flack would call you up and say, we got somebody for you. And he'd make contact with John Hunter, our producer. Now, the car show is a bit like that. Drive Time is a bit like that in that, we still adhere to the news stories, information, and looking at cars.
But so the car show is about cars. I didn't know that. I thought it was about something else.
I mean, even that's changing, because you have a bunch of people now who they're hell-bent on getting clicks. Clicks are what matter. So they will put anything on. They will say anything, and they will do anything.
McLaren releases new sedan, secret sales locations in major cities.
Yeah, we have the latest thing now is that you have women who are review cars in short dresses.
Getting into a vet in a sizable outfit.
And not so sizable outfit.
And that's a show. That's a
show.
That's a brief show. It's not a very long show.
That's a show. You have a few of those out there now, and young men's minds are what they are. I can't compete with that. I can only tell people I can only show people a car. And what I like about it and what I don't like about it.
Do cars have ashtrays still?
No, not really. No, they have compartments. They have really the cell phone charger has replaced the ashtray.
And the lighter.
Well, no, actually, there's a pad, usually where the ashtray used to be, and you can stick your cell phone in it, and it wirelessly charges your cell phone.
Acceptable. That's an advancement.
What?
Being able to charge your cell phone while you drive without plugging it in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, pretty soon you'll be able to charge your car without plugging it in. There's already roads
Bluetooth equivalent.
that have a system. It's being tested out, I believe, in Denmark, and I know they're testing it out in Arizona. Because for electric trucks to work, they're going to have to come up with some kind of system that charges the truck while it's moving.
So it doesn't have to stop for a half an hour or longer.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a long range. So you'll be able to run that truck 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And refuel or charge as you go.
In 20 years, that will be...
You just receive your charge from satellite.
No, it won't be from satellite, but there'll be charging, there'll be wires, there'll be radiant electricity planted in the ground, and your car will go over it, and it will pick it up, and it'll charge it.
And you'll be billed online.
Well, you'll probably just pay a fee, yeah. You'll probably just you'll have to subscribe to the service.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be able to turn you on or off.
Remember, off is an option.
You'll be able to turn you on or off. So that's it. So anyway, that's yeah. I guess just to close out about Colbert, was what I saw of it, and I didn't get to the end of it yet, but what I saw, I appreciated. I appreciated Stephen Colbert. As I wrote on Facebook in the social media channels yesterday. I wasn't a big fan of his at first, and he grew on me. And by the time he said goodbye last night, I had, it was a moving moment when Paul McCartney came out. To me, he hit the right note. He brought it full circle. So if they do destroy that theater, and I don't think they will, that'll. I'm sure that.
It's expensive to run the Ed Sullivan Theater on Broadway 5 nights a week.
Yeah, there'll be something will go in there. Something will happen there. Even if it's the rich guy taking his girlfriend down there and doing crazy stuff in the first row with her. This is where Colbert used to be. I got him out. I don't know. It's not going to be a pretty world, I think, for a while, Michael. I think that I just think that we have to.
Trump's struggle with reality is going to become more pointed and more ridiculous and more dangerous as the year wears on.
Well, we can only control what we can control. We can only hope that people stay upset at what's going on, and that people look at things like Colbert losing his show as attacks on democracy, as attacks on free speech.
And, NBC and ABC and HBO are continuing with their late night approach to programming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea that it's a failed experiment is ridiculous. may be inexpensive. It may be a smaller audience than it used to be, but so is everything.
Yeah, nobody's canceling Bill Maher. He's one of their top shows. Nobody's canceling John Oliver. Nobody's canceling Seth Meyers or Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel.
Nope.
Those shows are still going to be there. It's just CBS who has decided. And let's face it, CBS was late to the game to begin with. I mean, when did they show up with Merv Griffin? 1966, 67? I mean, they were...
but that was Merv's product. That wasn't CBS. Merv owned that show.
Yep. Merv basically did what Byron is doing.
Merv Griffin production.
Yep. He decided that he ran that show. He owned that show. He could do what he wanted to do with it. And from the little theater off Broadway, he did.
And Late Night with Letterman and Colbert ran for 33 years, so that wasn't exactly a failure.
I don't see how anybody could say it was a failure. I mean, who's saying it's a failure?
Well, they pulled the plug. They found something wrong.
Plug on something doesn't mean
the boss found something he didn't like.
You'd have to be an idiot to say it's a failure. It's not a failure.
It's a formula, actually.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it could have. No, I don't know. I don't know who's saying it's a failure, but when you get front page coverage on the New York Times when your show goes out, hard to say it's a failure. Now is CBS a failure? Is CBS, the corporate CBS, a failure?
Yes.
Yeah, they got a lot of holes they got to fix, and they ain't got the right people in there to fix them.
They made horrible mistakes that cannot be unmade.
They've screwed up the evening news that was an institution.
They destroyed their radio network.
They got rid of their radio network, or getting rid of it as of today.
Did they still have a stake in CBS Records, Columbia Records?
I don't think so. I think that's
all. That's all Sony, right?
Yeah, that's been Sony for years. I don't know if they have anything to do with that anymore, and haven't for years. But the Columbia Broadcasting System is, it's basically a carrier for cop shows and Survivor.
Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, I mean, what else do they have? At 11 o'clock at night, at 11:30 at night, they're going to go off the air.
Do they have sports still? Do they have football coming up?
Yeah. I mean, they have. That's what, and that's where they put a ton of their money.
By the way, Dave Fleming made the news the other day. He signed to NBC to do baseball for them, and he bought an $11 million stake in the San Francisco Giants.
There you go. Seems like everybody owns a piece of the Giants these days.
Well, Fleming said, look what it did for Buster Posey's career. Now people hate him and yell at him in the street. You're a bum, your row is a bum. And Dave Fleming's a bum. What did Dave Fleming do? He bought a stake. He's a part owner. He's the reason that the Giants suck.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I don't know that I'd want any part of sports ownership these days.
In fact, my Facebook feed from Seattle yesterday asked me if I wanted Dan Wilson to be fired, and if so, when.
Well, who was that? That was the Jim Moore.
Was he raising the question rhetorically, or did someone?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think it was rhetorical. I think he needed to get clicks. I mean, that's, listen, Michael, it's the oldest freaking thing in the book. Okay? Sports Talk 101.
Fire the coach.
Is fire the coach. Fire the manager. Fire this guy. Fire
and
that.
don't discuss who's going to take his place or where you're going to get him.
You walk in, you sit down, you turn the microphone on, you say good afternoon. It's 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. That's our sports update. Welcome to the New York Vinnie show. Dan Wilson, should he stay or should he go? And you sit back and you just hit the buttons.
Our first caller is Dan Wilson. Hello, Dan. Should
First
you
caller
be fired?
is Mrs. Wilson. I think he should be gone. I want him home with the kids more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's the easiest thing.
The man takes only 5 minutes to put together the lineup. There's no thought given to it whatsoever. What's wrong with this guy?
Doesn't matter that he won 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. Doesn't matter that they're 3 games behind last year's pace or whatever it is. I forget what doesn't matter. The go-to guy knows more, or softy knows more than the guy that's getting paid millions of dollars a year to run the club. Because they don't have a responsibility. If I go on and say fire Dan Wilson or Jim Moore or Softy or whoever, Mike Salk or any of these guys that have sports radio shows, who have decided, by the way, for the most part, not to even take phone calls anymore. They don't take phone calls anymore. You know, in our day, we had you put fans on the air, and he said, okay, well, why? But they don't do that anymore. It's not a conversation. It's supposed to be sports talk.
It's a lecture.
It's a lecture. It's some guy who gets up there and bloviates, or woman who gets up there and bloviates about what they think should happen. Personally, I don't find it that entertaining.
That's my complaint about the fan here in LA. I'm just underwhelmed by the content and the delivery. But I have a question.
Yes.
Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Gee, funny you should ask that, Michael.
It is funny that I asked that. In fact, it was hilarious.
Funny that you should ask that, because I happen to.
Do you know what you're driving this week?
Yes, I do. Here it comes. There you are, man. There is the Lexus.
It's a Lexus
550. Look at that beautiful thing, Michael. If you're going to go off-road, this is $80,000 worth of car that you should do it in. It is the Lexus version of the Land Rover. It's a Toyota, so you know it's going to work good. It's a stunner of a car.
What's the number on it?
The MSRP is, I don't have the exact number. I believe that it is around 84,000.
And the model number,
and that is the GX 550. Comes in a couple of different configurations. They got a GX.
Now, there are some people who
450. You got a couple of different. Wait, let me just turn the volume. I don't want to see it, but it's very similar to the Land Rover. This is a very nice trick that Lexus puts in there. They put an air compressor in the back of this thing, so if you get a flat tire, you don't have to worry about finding an air pump. You just take the hose out. You put it into the tire, you turn it on, and it blows the tire up. Also, if you have a raft, if you have a land yacht or something, or a little boat or something like that, it'll blow it up for you. Also, one of the great things about this vehicle that I love is that it'll handle off-road. If you want to go off-road and you want to do it in luxury, this is a nice vehicle for that. This
Sort
is
of a
gonna
conflict
take
in terms. I want to go off road, but I want to do it in a luxurious fashion. What can you do for me?
well, this is a vehicle that is going to take you just about anywhere you want to go off road. When you look at the interior, it's a comfortable, well designed, nicely done interior with different tones. There's even what I really like about whoever designed this interior really put a lot of thought into it because the comfort, the way you sit in this thing, the way the dash is laid out, the look of it. It's interesting. Is that somebody whoever designed this interior? It's a gray vehicle, but they found some nice green tones to put in the seats. And so they make an interior that's very attractive to look at, seats that are very comfortable to sit in. The placement of things like the center console is comfortable for your arm so that you can put your arm on it. You can hold the steering wheel in a good position.
I like that.
And you know
Now,
what? It's funny because it seems like a dumb little thing, right? But
until you realize it's important.
yeah, you take a trip 3, 4, 5, 600 miles driving one of these things, and you get that arm rest that's in the wrong place or it doesn't feel right, and all of a sudden your shoulder hurts. The Lexus has come up with this position where you sit in this thing and ergonomically it feels good. And they've got so many different adjustments on the seat and on the console.
You get it just right, you'll be happy.
That you can get it just right. As far as, the drivetrain, 349 horsepower V6. The four-wheel drive system has a low range. I think you got an 8-speed automatic transmission. The Overtrail, you lose the third row seat, but you can take this thing camping. You can take this thing off-road, go up to a mountain or a secluded place.
If Bigfoot throws rocks, can you sleep inside?
Wait, say again?
If Bigfoot is throwing rocks at your campsite, can you sleep inside?
Yeah, you're okay. It'll work out okay for you. And what they did on this particular vehicle too, which I thought is really nice, is they redesigned the roof rack. The roof rack used to make a lot of noise. You could hear the wind. And somebody at Lexus said, that's not a good idea.
We can do better.
We can do better. So they redesigned the roof rack. So now when you drive the vehicle with the sunroof open, which if you have a vehicle you want to do,
yeah,
it makes less noise. And you don't lose any capacity with the roof rack. So smart thinking from Lexus on this thing. So
is this a hybrid or is there any electrical support or?
No, this is I don't think this is a mild hybrid. I think this is a straight, a straight gasoline engine.
Is that
good
the Lexus
drive,
6-cylinder?
good steering, and a lot of travel with the suspension. When you go over things that, like we did in Mudfest a couple of weeks ago, where the suspension has to drop down to stay to go through a brook or a stream or over some big rocks, this Lexus will handle it. The other thing that's really good about this vehicle is it sits high up and it has a lot of glass. And a lot of glass means that you can see a lot. You can look out of this thing and it has great visibility.
What was the one you drove at Mudfest that had the glass ceiling, partial glass ceiling? Was that the Rivian?
No, that was the Lucid.
Mm-hmm.
the lucid gravity, which I'm hoping to get into here in the next couple of weeks for a week. The lucid gravity was a spectacular vehicle, and I can't wait to tell you about that particular vehicle.
So
But
your show's on tomorrow at 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock, we will
Are you
pay
sure?
special. We'll feature the Lexus. We will pay special tribute to the Jeep and to military vehicles tomorrow, as it is Memorial Day weekend. And every Memorial Day, we kind of go back and we take a look at some of the vehicles that our men and women took to war.
It's hard to get a good 1945 weapons carrier, isn't it? Pretty hard to find one.
Well, they're around, Michael. There's museums and there's actually people that deal in them.
Restore them.
They're actually very popular to find especially World War II and Korean War vehicles right now, Jeeps. As a matter of fact, there's a company in the Philippines, and we're going to talk about these people tomorrow, where you can buy in a box. They'll send it to you in a kit.
Jeeps used to come in a kit, didn't they?
Army Jeep.
That's the way Jeeps used to come in a box, right? In a crate.
Well, everything came in a crate. I mean, that's how they got them from the factory to the front. Is they would build them, disassemble them, put them in boxes, ship them over to wherever they were shipping them to, and then reassemble them.
Well, I have something that you'll be interested in. I went to the post office yesterday to get stamps. You don't buy stamps as often as you used to because you don't mail things as often as you used to.
Right.
So the commemorative stamps are now forever stamps, and they do a whole series of California lowrider cars.
Yes, I saw those.
Beautifully done.
Those are very, very cool.
Yeah, that's what I bought.
Very. If you're a stamp collector, I mean, I think those are the only people that buy those anymore.
You're probably right.
I still have somewhere here a sheet of Hot Wheels stamps that they did a couple of years ago. When I saw those, I immediately bought a couple of sheets of those, thinking that they would sell out, and I don't know if they have or not.
You got yours. That's
interesting stuff. Yeah, the post office does some pretty cool things with stamps these days.
There's a commemorative stamp out right now for Muhammad Ali. It's pretty cool looking, but I went with the lowriders.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Although I might go down and take a look at the Muhammad Ali stamp. I mean, you know what? I have all of these stamps. I've got a box full of stamps, including editions from the Super Bowl. I have editions from the Hall of Fame. Envelopes. First cancellations and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. What am I going to do? Take them to heaven with me when I go? So
they allow that. You can bring stamps into heaven because delivering things from heaven to earth it's expensive. It's a cost.
But you can bring them up there.
Somebody's got to pay for it. Yeah.
I don't have to get rid of my Springsteen poster.
You still have to pay Springsteen your carrying charges for the last album you bought.
Yeah. Well, I'll take my chances. All right. Yes. Drive time tomorrow, 11 o'clock in the morning. I'll be here cranking things up and talking about this Lexus and talking about a couple other vehicles that we have. We'll have some full reviews on, and we'll do a special tribute to Memorial Day and the men and women who gave their lives in those vehicles.
Very good, Vin. I look forward to it.
For our country, yes. It's and if you get a chance tomorrow, or this weekend, stop. First of all, two things. Number one, don't say Happy Memorial Day to anybody. It's not supposed to be.
It ain't like that. It ain't like that.
It's not a happy day. It's Memorial Day. Number two, take a moment and stop and think about the people who gave their lives
so the Strait of Hormuz could be closed,
so that we could enjoy the freedoms and how those lives are now in danger of not meaning as much as they did because we put our own country into this position.
And it started when you voted for Donald Trump. He's fucked the national economy. He's fucked the worldwide economy. He's fucked our relationship with all our allies who are not our allies anymore. Everything he's touched, everything that man has touched is turned into mud.
Sometime this weekend, I think I'm going to try to take a ride up to Canada because I want to see the Chinese EV dealerships that have sprung up on the other side of the border on the way to Vancouver.
If you buy one in Canada, can you drive it in the United States?
That's what I want to find out. If I buy one in Canada, can I drive it to the United States and use it here? I think I should be able to, but we'll have to see. I don't know what the tariff would be. So we'll next week sometime we'll have the answer to that question.
I'd like to see what those cars look like.
They're beautiful. They're stunning cars, Michael. I've been looking at them all week.
And they sell them at a loss.
For $40,000, you can buy yourself a pretty damn nice car.
That's
and
Canadian
you can buy
dollars.
a nice car for $25,000.
Now you're talking.
So there's not a lot they can do to stop them, although they're going to try like hell. All right, Michael, listen, you have a good weekend.
You have a good weekend, Vin. Have a good show tomorrow.
Thank you. I will catch you on Monday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise.
At 10:10?
At 10:10. We'll
Or
try to do it
thereabouts.
again. We'll see if we can make it 2 in a row at 10:10.
All right, Vin. Have a good one.
Take care. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
That's a wine, in case you're wondering. It's not anything else. It's just a wine. Leave it there.
All right, Mikey. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you all for listening, too. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, folks.